This is Radio Free Cobalt, coming to you from the heart of the boreal forest, near Big Lake, Temiskaming.
The Nursery for Songbirds, that's what they call the boreal forest. It's a magical place, running 6,000 kilometers across North America. It is home to 1/4 of the world's intact forest ecosystems, and it circles the world, forming a ring around the North Pole. Birds know of its magic. It's estimated that perhaps 3 billion birds or more make their way to the forest each year to have their families. Shorebirds, waterfowl, woodland birds. Almost all of the white-throated sparrows sail into the boreal forest each year, there to lay their pale green eggs in a cup of grass and moss of their own making. Robins, too, with their fiery breasts and sweet spring songs. Blackbirds, their eggs a pale turquoise streaked with grays and violets, the colors and sounds of fairy tales. So it is not surprising that birds populate our own nurseries. All of the ugly ducklings, wise owls, and helpful swallows are there in the stories we use to soothe our own children at bedtime. So yes, by all accounts, we love songbirds. And one that is especially easy to love is the beautiful rose-breasted grosbeak. Like other migrating birds, they read light. And when the light is telling them the story of springtime, they leave Mexico or Central America and head north. The story they read is not just about longer days, but also about budding and flowering times, the greening up of their destinations. But there's trouble now for the rose-breasted grosbeak, a mismatch, a mess-up, or as the scientists like to say, a phenological asynchronicity. The grosbeaks have relied on their historical knowledge to ensure their arrival coincides with the emergence of whatever beetle or caterpillar or moth was there to be their feast. But climate change is causing budding and flowering to occur earlier and earlier. In response, the insects emerge, and they are too soon. Some birds are now hard at work with their calculations and adjustments, tweaking their departure schedules and transit times, trying to rewrite the stories and maps of their age-old navigations. But other birds are not so adaptable. A recent study found 9 out of 48 species studied were unable to keep up with the rapidly shifting climate. One of them is our rose-breasted grosbeak. So what to do? Well, as our feathered friends scramble to rewrite their stories, we need to rewrite ours, without ourselves at the center. Birds bring us joy, for sure, but they don't exist to entertain us or feed us or even to represent diversity in our ecosystems. They exist as we exist, in their own right, for their own families and futures, and for their own magic. So we need to curb our appetites to make room for other characters in the story of this planet. Our consumption is just too much. Too much fuel, too much of the forest, too much of the mineral wealth below the ground. All those objects shipped from one corner of the globe to the other, cotton, iPhones, almonds, shipped faster and faster until we have the desire almost at the same time as the object arrives in the mail. It is just making everything too hot. From the post office to the nation's pipelines, and every step along the way, we can change things for the rose-breasted grosbeak. We just need to reassess our wants and needs. Otherwise, the only story we'll have left is that of 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie.